if you don't have your textbook, so you can see here the introduction. James Patrick Kinney is an American poet. So this poet James Patrick Kinney is an American man. His origin is Irish. He is Irish American poet who wrote this poem in the 1960s. Although it was first rejected as being too controversial, it gained popularity rapidly. So very soon this poem gained popularity, even though initially it was rejected because it was considered as very controversial, too controversial during that time. After it had been read out at a council meeting of all religions. So this poem was first accepted in a meeting of all religions. The poem describes the tragic death of a group of 6 who stand around a fire, each holding on grimly to a log of wood, allowing their selfishness, prejudice, malice, and suspicions to dictate their actions. They refuse to share the log to fuel the dying fire and keep each other warm. So these 6 people were with selfishness. Selfishness means the desire to get more and also the desire for the other person to get very less. Prejudice means having a preconceived thinking or a preconceived notion of any other person without any reason or without any experience. You think that like the other person is very rude or the other person is very you judge others without any reason. That is called prejudice. You think that okay, this person is like this even though you don't have any reason to give. And malice means this attitude of harming others, or the attitude of causing injury to others. And suspicions to dictate their actions. Suspicions means doubting others. They refuse to share the log to fuel the dying fire, and they refuse to keep each other warm because they hate each other. Even though they are in a group, they are forlorn group. Okay, in the second last stanza, we read that it is a forlorn group. So we know the group is including some people, and group means people who share the same ideas, the same ideology, or the same taste. But here you can see a group of 6 people with 6 different attitudes. You can see indifferences. You can see the lack of love for each other. So these 6 people refuses to help each other because they hate each other. Eventually, so at the end, the fire dies out, and in the morning, all 6 of them are found frozen to death, each clutching or each firmly holding, even in death, a log that could have so easily saved their lives if only they had overcome the petty barriers of class, race, and religion that divided them. The poem is a simple yet powerful reminder that if we selfishly hold on the world's resources and the wealth that it has to offer, if we persist or if we continue in discriminating on grounds of race, religion, caste, gender, and ethnicity, we are all lost. Now moving on to the style of the poem. This poem contains 8 stanzas, and each stanza consists of 4 lines. And you can see, let us analyze the rhyme scheme, the end rhyme scheme of the poem. So the first word is happenstance, so we give A. Next one is cold. Next one is wood. So there is no similarity in these end words. Happenstance is cold, and this is wood. Told. So cold and told rhymes similar. So we can give A, B, C, D. So this is the rhyme scheme of the poem. So this poem has a particular rhyme scheme, that is A, B, C, B. Here also logs, back, fire, black. And you know back and black sound similar. So there is okay A, B, C, B, okay, D, E, F, D. So this rhyme scheme goes on like, this rhyme scheme goes on like this. D, E, F, A. So it goes like this. So this poem can be read very fast. So it is like, it also suits the content of the poem because everything happens very fast. You can see some people trapped and their death happens immediately without any without no time. The death happens. So it means if we keep on our selfishness or any kind of discrimination, then the end or the doom is very near. It happens very soon. So it is high time to give away all your selfishness or your discriminations. Otherwise, your own life is in threat or your own life is in danger. So this is the poem. The first 3 stanzas and the next 2 stanzas and the last 3 stanzas. For more reference, you can read the introduction given in your workbook about the poem and poet. And a brief profile of the poet is given. And the important events in the poem, important meaning, message in the poem, and the poem in detail stanza wise. And also the meanings of the words given in the poem are also given. Themes are also discussed here. The one theme is futility of discrimination. So futility means the uselessness of discrimination, because if you have any kind of discrimination, it is not going to help you anyways, only destroys your life. So that is one theme, the futility or the fruitlessness of discrimination. You won't get any fruit for being discriminated against others. The second theme is lack of warmth in human relations. Here the line, the dying fire in need of logs. So literally it means a fire that is dying and it needs logs to keep it alive. And if you analyze it metaphorically, it says that this fire symbolizes, or this fire represents compassion. So dying fire means the dying compassion in the hearts of human beings, and it is in need of logs. Means people have to let go of their selfishness and any kind of discrimination to keep them alive, or to keep their, or to save their souls from being perished. So that is the meaning. And then about the style of the poem, narrative technique. Okay, this is not a simple poem. This poem is written in a way of narrating a story. So this is a poetic parable. So parable is a simple small story that gives a moral message through a story. And the poetry devices rhyme scheme. We have already discussed the rhyme scheme, A, B, C, B, and alliteration. Also in the poem you can see alliteration. So alliteration is a repetition of close consonant sounds. Okay, you know that there are consonant sounds and consonant vowels in English. I'm not talking about the consonant letters or consonant or vowel letters. I'm talking about the consonant sounds and vowel sounds. So if there is repetition of the same consonant sound in one line, then you can see the figure of speech alliteration used there. For example, in the second line in bleak and bitter cold, you can see the repetition of the consonant sound b. Do not pronounce it as b. The sound is b sound. Bleak and bitter. So there you can see the repetition of the consonant sound b. Bleak and bitter cold. This figure of speech is called alliteration. And in most cases, you can see this repetition of consonant sounds comes in the beginning of a word. And one more example is here in this line, the repetition of the consonant sound f. Okay, you have to write in this with the repetition of the consonant sound b inside the slashes. Here also the repetition of the consonant sounds f. So use of the figure of speech alliteration. So the use of alliteration gives a rhythm to the line, a rhythm to the poem. So there is a usage of alliteration, and there is a usage of rhyme scheme, and there is also the usage of personification. It is a figure of speech in each inanimate object. So inanimate means lifeless objects or abstract ideas are entered with qualities of human beings. So if you give human qualities to inhuman things, or if you give human attributes to objects, like giving attributes to a table or any kind of lifeless thing, that is called personification. And here in the poem you can see it is said, their locks held tight in death's still hands. You know that death is an idea, an abstract idea, and death is not a person. Death doesn't have hand, but it is said that death is holding the log, or death's still hands. So you can see you can see the death is written as a person who has a frozen hand or who has a cold hand, and we said the logs are held in the frozen hand or the cold and lifeless hand of death. So here in the line, death is personified because human attributes or human qualities are given to death. So death is personified because death doesn't have hands, it cannot hold anything, but here the death is personified. So you can see the figure of speech personification is also used there. Now, oxymoron. It is a figure of speech in which apparently contradictory terms appear in conjunction. So if two words that don't have any similarity, that is called oxymoron. For here it is said forlorn group. So group means there is a unity. Some people, like 3 or 4 people with the same taste, with the same thoughts, and with the same likeness, with the same taste. But forlorn, if you are in a group, you won't feel sad, you won't feel lonely, right? In the group you are together. In the group you are not alone. But here it is a forlorn group. So forlorn means it's a lonely group. Okay. Okay, lonely means the situation of being alone, not accompanied with anyone. Alone means you don't have the company of anyone. But here it is said the group is lonely. And why it is said lonely and sad? Okay, if you are lonely, you feel sad. So forlorn means sad and lonely. You are feeling sad because you are lonely, you are not accompanied by anyone. And why it is said forlorn group? Because even though there are 6 people, these 6 people don't have any warmth towards others. So they are not friendly to others. That's why they are lonely. They are separated from the others. each one is separated from the others, they are lonely. That is called forlorn group. Some examples of oxymoron is like terrible beauty. Sometimes we say terrible beauty. Okay, so beauty is something pleasant and terrible is something negative. But if we say terrible beauty, that is, then we are using the figure of speech oxymoron, as if we say forlorn group. Group is a positive word and forlorn is a negative word, because group means you are accompanied by someone, some people, and forlorn means you are lonely. So they are contradictory terms, but they are used together to give a specific meaning that is very effective, so that we can easily understand the situation very clearly. Terrible beauty is said, or and next is tone. The tone of the poem is sad and melancholic. 6 men are trapped in cold weather and their dying fire is in need of logs, but even though each of them is clutching a piece of wood, they cannot put it to use due to their selfishness. It is ironical that they die from the cold within them. The tone of the poem is so depressing that one can almost feel the coldness of their hearts, the poet describes. Okay, and under this title, you can read the importance or the significance of the title of the poem, The Cold Within. We have already discussed that even though the outside atmosphere was very cold, the main reason for the death of the 6 people was their lack of love and compassion, and their readiness to help each other was the main reason for the death of all the 6 people. If they had helped each other, then there was a great chance of being saved from the dark and cold weather. As they refused to help each other because each one had selfishness, discrimination, bigotry, classism, and this selfish kind of behavior, or that immense greed to attain profit, all resulted in the death of others, because they refused to give their log, they refused to give away their selfishness or any kind of discrimination. So you can say this fire is a metaphor for compassion. The dying fire is a metaphor of the dying compassion in the hearts of the 6 people, and you can also see the log as a symbol or as a metaphor for their greediness, for their selfishness, for their discriminatory nature, for their racist nature. So this log of wood they are holding represents, or it is a metaphor for the sins they hold with them. The sin of hating your neighbor instead of loving your neighbor.